Yes.
It was about even some people will be giving money, and those people that gave those voters money were looking at you to go.
But
or a proof came that you voted a certain way.
You're not allowed with phones anymore, like in other previous elections. Nobody is allowed to go into the voting booth with you. So things have changed. Some people will collect the money and vote for you, but many will collect your money and vote for who they want. So the voting exercise is improving, and I believe the improvement in the voting procedure will, in turn, make it better for the economy, because we're going to start voting. People will know that we can vote you in and vote you out. So people will go there and do the right thing, in the National Assembly and the governors. For instance, now that the state assemblies they're going to be getting first-line charge, the governors are going to be put in line, because the governors are one of the biggest problems we have in this country, because they held the president's in hostage. That's what they did to Jonathan, and that's what some of the governors are doing to Buhari.
That is an allegation that I don't want to.
No, it's true.
I don't want to get into. But the question is just like, let's continue a bit on what an ordinary Nigerian or an average Nigerian can do, especially as we are like close to the election, some days to the election. What do you think that we can do as ordinary Nigerians, to help the political process so that we can have economic freedom? Just like James Carville in the US said, I'm always quoting that, it's all about the economy stupid. He said, is the economy stupid during Bill Clinton days, because what we should also realize is that every person that we want to vote into power, or every office seeker, is going there to make our lives better, is going there with our own imaginations of how we want the country to be run, and to do it. So what can we do? What can you do? What can I do? What can you do? What can the person watching right now do to improve the political process so that we can have economic freedom? Economic freedom in terms that there are jobs, poverty is reduced, we have good infrastructure, security, education, and all those things are the basic things. And not someone coming to say, I've done road, and you're saying it as a and I'm wondering.
You're doing a favor. You're doing a favor for us.
Yeah, I would say that, of course, looking at the past 4 years, the engagement with the electoral process has been quite robust, through various platforms. And you can see it in terms of the changes, the reforms that the electoral management body keeps making. The vote buying one was a case, the Ekiti and Oshun stuff, and INEC came out to say that, okay, first and foremost, we are going to put out our polling stations in way that people do not, there'll be no third-party verification of who you are casting your votes for. And at the same time, the camera thing, phones, you can't take it into the poll. But I think one of the most important things for us as Nigerians is, what is the opportunity cost of vote buying? What is the implication for development? Because let's just do a simple mathematics, Nancy. If you are going to pay an average of 8 million voters, let's just put a conservative estimate of 1,005, 2,000 naira. You know what that costs. So put that, just oppose it against what that will do in terms of real development, providing those infrastructure and services that citizens need. And so when, as citizens, we are able to demonstrate that the votes count, the power of the people count, there will be no need for people to spend the next 4 years trying to pool resources together to buy votes in the next elections. So these are the changes, these are the arguments that we need to put on the table.
The question now will be, in this forthcoming elections, will our votes count, bearing in mind that we're battling with vote buying and vote selling, or is it conscience buying now? Because this administration has also been accused of conscience buying with the trader money.
Trader money.
Yeah, yeah. So will our votes still count? And how important is the PVC? We just saw a report now, the track up right now on PVC. How important is our PVC? Because that should be like our, what we call ATM card.
I think even over the weekend, I think the INEC office in Abia was attacked, and PVCs, a lot of them were destroyed. So unfortunately, whoever did that did not do anybody a favor. I feel what we need to do is, first of all, there's a lot of illiteracy in the country. A lot of people don't know how to vote. I think one of the most useless institutions we have now is the National Orientation Agency. They're not doing their job.
That's too.
No, the fact is, if you remember during Jerry Ghana, Professor Jerry Ghana in the 80s, Mamsa was doing a wonderful job. Jerry Ghana did excellently. No one is not doing anything, and only on TV. They need them and INEC to enlighten people on how to vote. But
I think NOA is also, I'm not speaking for NOA, but I think I've seen one or two things NOA is doing. But perhaps
you've seen it in Abuja. Go to the grassroots. Me, I do local politics, so I go to see what they do. You don't hear them on the radios. You don't see them. They don't do flyers. Before they used to do flyers. They used to do it in different languages. They don't do those anymore. I think they have to wake up to their responsibilities. And since they're not doing it, the Nigerian citizens, have to do it for the people. We have to teach them how to vote, how to line up, how your PVC. If somebody tries to is doing something wrong, you should tell them, okay, we saw people trying to manipulate the election. Let the security agencies know. Let the parties know. So really, the election is just 11 days to election. So there's so much we can do. Like I said, we can do house to house and help Nigerians to know how they will vote.
Campaign finance, can we talk a bit about it? Campaign finance laws, you know.
Yeah. They're very weak, I think.
They're very weak?
I think they are.
It's, one of the key problems in the country is that there are a lot of laws that are
not implemented,
that are fairly reasonable to deal with the existing problems. But usually the problem is enforcement and all of that. So for campaign financing, the law is very clear. I think the total expenditure for a presidential candidate is around
5 billion.
5 billion or
yeah.
Sorry, I can't get the exact.
Billion,
but these regulations, these benchmarks are there. But again, you ask the question, where do you draw the line, for example, for an incumbent who is in office and who has access to state resources? You understand? And how do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between his personal financing and the state resources? But look at the other ends of it. People who are donating, it is also prescribed in the law that you cannot donate more than 1 million naira.
As an individual.
So, but we have situations where people tell you
groups. The president, for example, his funds were bought for him.
Yes, his funds were bought for him. You have a situation where somebody tells you he's donating 100 buses.
Yes.
So all this needs to be.
Our offer was 50 million.
50 billion. And so the next thing that needs to happen is for you to be able to track campaign financing, how do you put that component into the broader financial system?
That's how do you break it down so that we don't, if I get you right, so that you don't have like shadowy groups. Let's say I'm running for an office, I can't do more, I can't do.
So the source of all those contributions must be stated clearly. The fact that you're a successful businessman does not necessarily mean that whatever you do with your money is allowed. So because there are also problems of all of these monies, undermining the basic fundamentals of the economy.
Do you still have, okay, sorry, I just wanted to ask this question. Do you still have this issue of political godfatherism, sponsoring candidates for political offices as business investments? Do we still have them like we used to have them years ago that were pronounced? Perhaps now they are still there, they are not pronounced. At least for those of you that watch the political process, I really want to know.
Well, I think they still got godfatherism because when you take from the primaries of the parties, you know that, okay, the governors have decided that who will become the senator, who's going to be the member, who's going to be the candidate. And, it happens across the parties, APC, PDP, that's what's happened. A lot of people the reason why people are moving from one party to the other party is because they didn't get it. get tickets. There are people that take Imo, the Rochas has a candidate in another party and he's still in APC and he's running for Senate. So godfatherism is still there. Some people have lost out.
Godfathers that see or that send those candidates for offices, they see it as business investment.
Yes, it is.
Because
They're
like a
there.
business
It's still there.
investment.
They'll have an agreement that, okay, when you get there, I'm going to give you 50 million, so I'm expecting 100 million in 6 months when you get to the Senate or as a governor.
So these are things, what are the regulations and to what extent are we enforcing them to make sure that the movement of monies and how they affect politics, you know, is very clear. Because you cannot track money on a weak financial system. You cannot. So, and it begs,
is our financial system weak? Is our
to
financial system
some
weak
extent.
to
To
track
some extent. We cannot run away from that.
I had a discussion 3 weeks with somebody from one of the opposition parties, and he told me, like, I was telling, I see you people are not campaigning like before. You don't have money. He told me, look, don't think we don't have money. We have money. It's not in the banks. That's what he told me.
It's not in the banks.
The banks. That's what he told me.
Don't you think perhaps because our financial system is a bit stronger now? Because
Yes,
they
that's
know
the
that
reason
if
why.
those funds go into
That's
the
the reason
financial
why.
system,
That's the
they
reason
will
why they're
track
keeping it
it.
at home. That's
You
why I'm
see,
telling the
that's
facts.
why we're saying that the factors responsible for the downturn in money in the elections can be a combination of factors, which includes the BVN and all of that. And governors, people in public office can no longer dip their hand in the till. And he talked about the arms money that was just basically around funding the election in 2015. But that is not happening right now. And so Nigerians must begin to look at how is it possible that we begin to ask questions around how do we consolidate on these gains around blocking leakages.
Okay. Let's take a few comments coming through just before we end the show. Girl Like Parish on Twitter says, from first week of December, I have been going for my PVC 3 times in a week. I was there yesterday and I will still be there tomorrow. But they keep saying my PVC is not ready. I don't know what INEC wants to do with our PVC. Each time I go there, I'm spending not less than 1,500 naira. Seriously, I am tired of going, standing under the sun, but I won't give up. Buhari must go. It's not from me. That's what I'm reading.
He shouldn't give up.
From Twitter.
He shouldn't give up.
Okay. Nayamenore says, I want to ask if more staff are deployed to each collection center to make the work easier. What would happen, INEC? Okay. Let's see if we can take more comments. Amaju says, elections are a ritual every 4 years where politicians utilize both public and private funds gotten from primitive accumulation of wealth. He puts corruption in parentheses to sustain their hold on power. It is a bogus state and a class struggle for power. Hillary says, INEC are liars. They are planning to rig with APC to collect PVC on the island in Lekki. That's coming from Hillary Vincent on Twitter. Okay. Do we have more comments? Tewagia says, the APC federal government have been vote buying through this their market money. Which other comment do we have? Omar Chijindu says, the Gariki issue, I believe INEC Nigeria has a plan. I see no reason why they are not at their duty post by 9 a.m. during this period. Don't forget, INEC staffs have long holidays after elections and post-elections matters. Minimum of 1 year holidays. It's left for INEC staff to
answer those questions.
To answer those questions if indeed they have holidays. But let me just quickly, because I have a lot of comments coming through. Sally Chindo says the INEC staff at Gariki primarily school Lagos Street are so slow. They didn't have my PVC and gave no explanation for it. They were very unprofessional. Mwafo Obinna says, as long as governance and the quality of governance takes the back seat in Nigeria, elections and the manipulations that accompany it will continue to affect our economy negatively instead of the other way round. Okay, let me just, because we have like 3 minutes to the end of the show. Your closing remarks, perhaps you want to respond to some of these comments. Yes.
Yeah, those the complaints are germane and they are also open to a lot of they say nature abhors vacuum. If INEC cannot provide clear-cut reasons why all this is happening, then the conspiracy theory
will continue.
Sets in. But just to say that this is an indication to Nigerians that the PVC collection process, INEC, is a public institution, and they are not immune from the inefficiency of our public service provision. And these are some of the things that we really need to put on the table. The PVC is an example. When you go to the hospital, when you want to access services, these are issues. And so let's not, in as much as we're in the election period, but it's a time for Nigerians to reflect on what does governance do for them.
And what does governance mean, and what kind of leadership that we want? Okay, very quickly, Baffa.
Well, what all I can say to Nigerians is, okay, like the lady said that she won't give up. Please don't give up on collecting your PVC. Continue going and vote for who you want. The president has told us in Imo State that we should not vote on religion or tribe or party. So we should vote for who you want. Please, so come out and vote for whoever you feel will help us move Nigeria forward.
Like I always say, politics and economy are intertwined. Like, is it husband and wife now, or Siamese twins? Which one? Siamese twins, isn't it? Because our political process would also ensure that each and every one of us have economic freedom. We are going to be voting those that will be making policies that will affect both you, both me, your business, his business, her business, whatever you're doing, into power come February 16th and other days.
Sorry, Nancy, one more thing, please. Yeah. The problem we have in Nigeria is a lot of us concentrate on the election of the president and the governors. The National Assembly and the State Assembly are equally important. Please vote and vote for the right people.
The question will be, perhaps that should be on another show, do we really have the right people? Is our political process also churning out the right people? I think that's the topic for another day.
Thank you.
We'll talk about that. So many thanks for joining me on the show. Baffa Saleh, Executive Director, Initiative for Transparency and Accountability, as well as Kenneth Okoineme, Governance Coordinator, Action Aid.